I'm on that White Claw, on that basic bitch. I actually wanted the Topo Chico ones, but all they had were the like alcoholic versions of those, and
so those are the best ones.
I gotta. No, I just like the traditional Topo Chico seltzers. I don't want the tequila. Like it all feels so sketch. It's like I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Just give me this weird whatever seltzer thing that it is.
Have you tried Cutwater?
Yeah, I'd much rather make myself an alcoholic drink. I'd much rather do the shaking and do it myself. Again, all that shit, I don't trust them. I don't trust you.
What are we doing here?
Oh my god.
What show is this?
This is episode 31 of your favorite wrestling podcast. I am Crunk Chocolate and I'm here with my show bros, Flem, Greggo, Devin the Dude. What's up, bros? How's it going?
It's been so long. It's been so long. So much has happened. And honestly, literally just now, I think All In just ended. I think.
Just now.
Listen.
Are we sure it ended?
We're actually going to talk about it. But just know,
not all
was a long ass show.
6 hours. I mean, from what I'm hearing, people were saying it was worth it. I didn't watch. I didn't see it.
All right.
I'm okay. So I guess we can even start here because I don't want to stay here because this wasn't on the docket or whatever. But my brain is broken. I do not like the idea of paying monthly for a pay-per-view. Like I just can't do it. I'm not a UFC person. So like the idea, and that's what's going to stop me from ever becoming like a full-fledged AEW person is having to pay for every pay-per-view premium live event. Like I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing it. I pay enough.
I have a link
for all of the other
subscriptions. You're spoiled. You said I'm the days of paying for pay-per-views is over. We done.
Like facts. Like $50. Are you serious?
Now that part.
I have two things to say to that.
I have a link to send you.
Two things to say.
Please do.
First and foremost, you would not have survived the WWE network. That's first and foremost.
That was $10.
Well, times have changed. Like back then, I would. But like now,
but that's that. That's why I went off air now because y'all complaining about $10. That's why it's off the air now. Y'all complaining about WWE.
I mean, you still pay what? How much is Peacock? Like $7.99 or something?
But I got Peacock, I got Paramount, I got Amazon, I got fucking Netflix, I got Hulu, I got Paramount Plus. Like I got too much shit, bro. Like it's too much.
The Marvelous.
But to that point though, I will say this: $50 for a monthly pay-per-view. Now, one could argue that AEW makes sure to give you your bang for your buck because, like, it's not just like All In. It's like, it's an exception, like WrestleMania. Like most of their pay-per-views are a solid 5 hours, and that's not even including the pre-show.
But I don't want to do 5 hours. I don't want to do 5 hours.
I don't either. Like at most. Like if it's something like this show, like All In or Double or Nothing, I could do 4 hours. But otherwise, like especially when they do it on Sundays, I'm like, I do not need 6 hours. I do not need. And mind you, just because it's Saturday, just because it's on the afternoon, doesn't mean you got to go 6 damn hours.
And it's Sunday, so it's a day of rest. So like 4 hours, that's max rest. Any more than that becomes a fucking job. That becomes
Oh no, that's the thing because mind you, including 0 hour the pre-show, that was a whole 8 hours.
Pre-show. What sickos are watching pre-show?
Oh, if there's one thing that AEW loves, it's their sickos. So yeah.
God. Oh. Oh, okay.
Well, we'll get into All In later on, but yeah, we just had to get on that real quick. Like I said, it just ended. It just ended. So yeah.
Oh man,
just in time for Dynamite.
Right.
See how they did that?
They teleported to Chicago.
Oh man, I am super excited because we have a whole weekend's worth of shows to catch up on, and some. All in, Evolution, Saturday Night Main Events. Oh, great!
Great American Bash.
Like there was an entire weekend's worth of wrestling. Was it the best weekend of wrestling of all time? I know you say that it grabs the attention. I don't think it was. Also, I'm the fake ass fan that is just like, I want to be entertained. So I can't actually even answer that for you. I would say no, but also I couldn't give you a date that was. So we will talk about that and plenty more. Please give your thoughts in the comments. Like, review, share, subscribe, all of those fantastic things. Woo! Okay, so we are gonna start with the Saturday Night Main Event so we can, grand opening, grand closing. Let's get the shit out of the way. It was a fucking snore fest full of ads and Jelly Roll. Like, like why? I truly didn't believe that WWE would help Logan Paul's legitimacy as a wrestler by putting Jelly Roll in a program with him. Like, why are they doing this? Like, what? Hey, I do see that he's slimming down. That Ozempic is hitting. And also, I read an article about how, like, Randy Orton was like, hey, it's cool. I enjoy it. Everybody's very much excited about the whole Jelly Roll situation of it. But also, that's what they're supposed to say. And then Seth Rollins, his injury. Would it have happened if there was no Saturday Night Main Event? Who knows? But it did happen. This is what happens when you try to fuck up AEW's groove. The Goldberg match, right, which we have to give Gunther some more love because they have used him to get us to take Jey Uso seriously. Pat McAfee, who then just has not been on television forever, and then Goldberg's 58-year-old ass. Like, what? Like, what a complete waste of time, energy, and WWE's universe's money was Saturday Night Event. The only good thing was the swerve that, oh no, because that was actually on Evolution. So I have nothing. I have no good about Saturday Night Main Events. Like, please, show bros, like, don't like make shit up just for the sake of potting. But like, was there positive? Like, did you see a need for this event? Because it really feels like they did nothing.
I mean, I'll say this because, of course, Saturday's Main Event, the whole WWE weekend was down here in Atlanta this past weekend, and for the most part, like, the energy, like, I mean, there was so much going on this past weekend with the All-Star game, and say, like, the energy was all over the place, and also included in WWE. And as far as Saturday's Main Event, I feel as though there could have been some good energy, but I also feel like once Seth got hurt and now so early in the show, I feel like that took out the energy out of what everything else that came afterwards. Because of course, obviously, you had him facing LA, who I saw in Kroger, and he's fucking huge. And pause. And I feel like, like once that happened, especially because nobody knows like what the plan would have been for that match. It's like you're trying to basically like gather yourself up from that match, and I feel like, especially like with the constant ads and commercials, it's like how can you really get a good flow to the show when you're like every few minutes like, we'll be right back, and then because you had to give so much time to Seth and that injury, I feel like it disrupted what could have happened with Gunther and Goldberg. And I'm sure we'll get into it in a second, but I'm just like, dog, like, one, you already know Triple H don't fuck with you. And because you're on network TV, it's like you got hard cut time. So it's like, hey, we'll show this on social media. We'll wrap this thing up, and you'll get it there. Like, don't be upset because you got network TV. You retired on NBC. I fail to see what the fucking problem is. There's like he's wants to bitch about everything, but I'm like, dog, like it really it's not that. Like, be happy you got this because not everybody gets that. So the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the whole, in my opinion, it feels like the whole show was done A, to counter program AEW, and B, to it was just a Goldberg's retirement show, which his match with Gunther I thought was fine at best.
Fine, yes.
15 minutes. That's more. That's about 10 minutes more than 80% of his matches. So yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You got Gunther got a lot out of him, which props to Gunther for figuring that out. But I don't know. It just felt like it was a nothing show outside of that, in my opinion. Like, of course, the Seth injury is going to be a major blow, and I still think that I don't necessarily think that happens because it's the show. I think it happens because he does that move.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not the first time that he's hurt that knee, and the first time he hurt that knee was actually during a live show, back 10 years ago. He talked about this. He floated as a guest host on the Rich Eisen show earlier today, and he went into basically where things stand right now. Like, he doesn't know the official word on that. I guess he has still went on the swelling to go down.
Which is some bullshit, bro. Like, all you have to do is be in a doctor for 2 hours, and you know exactly what's wrong with your knee. So, like, they're obviously he is still doing more kayfabe than Goldberg has ever done. Like, period. And it's so annoying. I guess hold on.
I don't know about kayfabe. I feel like he's holding out hope that, hey, let's just see how this thing rolls out. You know,
he
a couple
knows
of weeks.
What his knee is. He knows.
He probably does. He probably does. Like, cause like he said himself, like it feels like the injury from 10 years ago, but at the same time, I mean, like, you know how a lot of these wrestlers are. Like, obviously, like, you're built to kind of like take a lot of pain and see if you can keep on pushing. I mean, shit. Kevin Owens still hasn't even got his neck surgery yet. Like, these guys are not built normally. Like, they try to like hold out as much as they can, and I feel like he's still holding out hope. But at the same time, like, just from the slow-mo replays, it's like if he manages to for this to be not as severe as it looked, he needs to thank whatever God he preaches to it and be like, yes, I dodged a huge bullet here because, you know, you already have bad knees to begin with. So it's like, and you're already starting to get up there in age. So you have to take extra care. Like, you might not be able to do all the bumps, all the moves that you did 10 years ago. Now it's like, hey, you got to be smart about that and make this shit count, because otherwise you'll have an instance like this, and, you know, you might not be able to bounce back as quickly. And, you know, hopefully he comes back. I mean, like, obviously, like, everything, so much around Raw was revolving around him. And I think that, you know, as we go into the end of the year and, you know, hopefully and possibly Mania next year, I'm sure he's going back to Randy huge, and like, and losing that big chess piece is big. I think the thankful part is that you saw this weekend, WWE is fucking stacked from a talent perspective. So it's like they lose a big piece, but they still have so much that they can pivot to, that it's almost like they'll miss them at the same time they won't. So yeah,
that's fair. Oh my gosh. Okay, so other than obviously the Seth Rollins situation slowing things down, Devin, did you pay? I mean, you've been busy, you know, doing the women's and men's football thing, you know, playoffs, off season. Shout out to you, Annapolis Blues, and all that. Were you able to see any wrestling this last weekend? Like, what were your thoughts on things?
I am ashamed to admit that we had our last regular season game Saturday, so I was at the stadium all day. Didn't get home till 11, 12 o'clock Saturday. So, yeah. So I actually missed everything that happened Saturday.
You're lucky.
Even though I have the results, I know what happened, but I didn't get a chance to watch it live. Ultimately, yeah, as B Flem mentioned, it was ultimately just an event to counter AEW, and for Goldberg to have his final match.
And that fucking
Yeah, they-
match. Did you at least see any like highlights? Did you rewatch the match? Like, because
I saw the chest. I saw the chest slap. That's about all.
okay, so we kind of chatted about it in the group chat. I am annoyed because in the moment when Gunther did this chest slap, and Goldberg laughed, I popped. I enjoyed it. It was like, okay, cool, let's like this. But then Goldberg on whatever podcast it was, I'm not giving him a shot, but he was like, I was expecting more, and then it happened, so I couldn't help but laugh. That immediately took it from being like Goldberg, the kayfabe character, being badass, to Goldberg, to what everybody knows. Goldberg, you're a shit wrestling partner. You do not sell. You do not help make the wrestling match look better, look brighter, more entertaining. He instantly made it about himself. He also talked about how I was cut off and there will never be another Goldberg. Like, he just made it so much about him, which respectfully, it is his last match. But there are so many times where that's like the thing. Your last match, you fall on your back. We saw with Trish Stratus, which we'll talk about later. Like, but he just didn't handle it. It was uncouth. There was no cool. There was no honor in it. He just made it about himself and how cool he is and how tough he is. And so I'm still now being like, fuck Goldberg. I'm so over all of this.
Here's the thing that actually stuck out to me was that apparently, so his son Gage is he's a linebacker at the University of Colorado.
No aura.
He under Coach Prime, and him and Coach Prime go way back when both he and Goldberg played it for the Falcons. And I feel as though WWE offered Gage an NIL deal, and I guess his dad, stopped that. I guess he wasn't happy with the deal, whatever. I'm like, dog, like, this is money in your son's pocket. I'm like what number was he given that would have, been so offensive? Be like, hey, this is not enough for you. Like, you're like, are you trying to pay him like he's Roman Reigns? I'm like, dog, like, you're messing up your kid's pocket so that way he doesn't come into your pocket, and it's like it's not enough. I'm like, dog, like it's stuff like that it's like you come off so entitled, you come off so much like a dick. And
Bret Hart was right.
I mean, all things considered, like, I don't even know if that stuff that Bret Hart said was actually was said, but I'm like, even then, I wanted to feel real, because I'm like, dog, like there, the feedback, the backlash that has come from all this, I'm like, this was supposed to be a halfway decent moment for the guy to, sign off on his career, however limited and part-time it was, and you just decided to just make it even more about you in a way that just feels it's so awkward and icky, and it's like, dog, like, go away. Just please, just go. Let's go that way. Don't call us. We won't call you. Lose the number. Go be Mountain Man wherever you want to be in Texas or Oklahoma or whatever the fuck ever.
I mean, B Flem, like, are you here to like be like the person who on the opposite end where you're like, hey, give Goldberg some credit? Like, where are you in here?
He didn't die. That's not your.
To be honest, no.
He did hit the jackhammer. I will give him that. I mean, it was a little scary for a moment, but he still hit the jackhammer.
I just really didn't care for the match. Like, even in the build, like, probably people that have watched Goldberg a little bit more as they were like coming up. Maybe they have, but like it feels like to me, it just felt like a wasted world heavyweight title match on Gunther.
He took the title off Jey Uso for that.
Right,
Yes.
like
Yes.
For what we ultimately got, it definitely feels like a wasted moment there. And you know, it's something where I understand why they gave Goldberg the match on Saturday's Main Event, because obviously they didn't want to give him a pay-per-view match because they're like, fuck all that. But at the same time, he's big enough to where he's a big enough name that it's like, okay, it might make sense to give him a spot on network TV because mainstream people know him from 25 years ago. But obviously that was 25. Back then he was big.
Yes, I get that. But mainstream, I feel like he's like Ultimo Dragon. Like, yes, we know the name Goldberg. We know the name Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like an old thing where I feel like if there are any wrestling fans within the last 5-10
they
years,
won't know him. But there's older people that like back when wrestling was even bigger and you had 10 million people watching wrestling.
Fuck you, grandpas. We don't care about you guys. Because of you, we got this bullshit and we got all this fallout from Goldberg.
But that's why you also have Saturday's Main Event on NBC. Network TV, they care about that kind of stuff. So that's how you end up with a guy like Goldberg on NBC. But when you have, you know, more active fans, they're like, yeah, like that's why he's not on the PLE. That's why, because those fans would have never wanted anything to do with him on a fucking Night of Champions or Money to Make. Like, nah. They say, hey, be happy with what you got.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but shout out to Saudi who are being like, who is hot now? I don't care about back then.
They already did Goldberg. They say, hey, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
Peace out. Moved on. Goodness gracious.
Once they saw what he did with the Undertaker, they was like, we good. we cool on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything from Saturday Night Main Event that we were like, okay, cool, this was worth my time? Because I sat there for multiple hours and all I remember is ads and kind of laughing at everything on social media.
I'm trying to remember what else was. Like I said, you had Seth and
exactly.
You had Seth and LA Knight. Who else was? Wasn't there a women's match too?
No, all the women's matches were Evolution.
Exactly.
So Sikoa and beat Jimmy Uso. Yeah,
and my guy solo,
and then the Randy and Drew McIntyre.
Okay, so yeah, that was the positive.
That
was the positive. It was the Claymore that
Jelly Roll
that he hit on Jelly Roll. Like, I will give you, Jelly Roll sold the shit out of that, but.
Apparently he's actually, like, I guess, trained to be a wrestler before.
Yes, I know. I read the article and all that stuff, but
I had no idea. Yeah.
So, like, I saw him and I was like, oh, he does look like he's been losing weight.
But I'll say this: compared to some other people who talked the talk but didn't walk the walk recently, you know, that's better. That's better than some people. It's better than some.
Say names.
Travis Scott.
Say his name and he appears.
Fucking Jack Boys 2 trash ass album. I played like 5 seconds of each song. I just went skip.
Whoa.
Like, man, he's gotten so lost. Like, I get it. He's living his best life. He's making tons of money. He's having all the experiences.
He's got all
because
the
of that. He has nothing to fucking talk about. Please get all your music. Like, leave us alone. Be like Riri. Like, do what she did, which is like, go do other things and say, I'm gonna make more music, and then don't make more music. Like, don't do it. Or like, maybe make some music for like Smurfs or some shit. Like, do things like that. But like, you're not out here Like, you were smart to not try to. Oh well, I guess he did talk some shit about Pusha T on Jack Boy's 2 album, but it was so trash, nobody cares.
People need to learn to leave Pusha T alone.
Yes, we talked about it. But before we actually get to Evolution, I do want to talk about AEW All In for a moment. I didn't watch any of the 6 hours, admittedly, because I told you, like, I'm not doing the $50. But I did see tons of highlights. They crept on my feed. They do a good job at that. People do a good job at like sharing all of that stuff. If WWE's attempt was to cool down what AEW is cooking up, I don't know if they know, but if you put like cold water on hot grease, it just sprays everywhere and increases your chances for a fire. I was even seeing people talking about how the tide has turned, where AEW is where you need to watch real wrestling, and WWE is a dinosaur, and it's old school, and it's over, and it's fucking plastic and just commercials, which you can't argue against that. Like, truly, especially after watching Saturday Night Main Events. Did any of you guys watch AEW All In, see anything of AEW All In? Do you understand, I guess, that whole group thing? Because obviously you can kind of go against it, but
so
what were your thoughts of after all of it?
I made it to all the way through the Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm match. I had to go out afterwards. And mind you, by that point, I think there was still another 2 hours left. So yeah, the past, I would say, at least 4 or 5 months, there definitely has been a concerted effort, I think, with their creative to where it actually but like the creative's actually been far more coherent than it's ever been. And I feel like they stumbled into something that actually worked out pretty well for them, because I do feel like the original plan was probably for Darby Allin to get the world title, because like he wanted to go climb Mount Everest and
successfully.
And I think that the idea was probably for him to come back and then win the world title. However, in the meantime, they stumbled into something with Hangman Page, and I feel as though they were like, we need to strike while the iron's hot, because he's actually here and he's actually in that moment and that vein to where people are getting behind him. People are finally catching on to everything that people hoped to see with Hangman back when AEW first began. I feel as though when they tried it before, he wasn't ready yet. Now, 5-6 years in, he's at that point where it's clicking for him, it's clicking for the company. And I do feel like all considering, despite how fucking long it was a really good show. I feel like they pulled it off pretty well. And I do feel like there's definitely the energy that people had back earlier on when AEW started. They're starting to get that back. And I do feel like this AEW's strong suit has always been their pay-per-views, always. The problem has always been the weekly episodes. You're like, okay, this is some bullshit. But I do feel like lately the Dynamite's been better and Collision started to get better. And so if there was ever a point to where people were like, hey, let's see where AEW is now and see, like how much they've grown since whatever time people probably gave up on it. Like now you're like, okay, this actually is looking pretty good. And there's still some ways to go. I feel like the competition part with AEW and WWE came in more so, not so much on TV, but really more so at the gate, because you got to think about it. WWE ran 3 shows in the same city this past weekend. And, I know like the day of with Evolution, they started cutting prices because all they considered Evolution didn't sell out. Like they got what they got, they made it look good, but it was still like 8,000 seats. And even with Great American Bash, like they were charging fucking $400 for that shit. I'm like, center stage is not big. Like it's like maybe maybe 300 people. Like it's not big at all. And it's something where like not only are you trying to eat against AEW, you're also eating against yourself, because I don't know too many people who have money for all 3 shows for all in the same weekend. Less like, so you're making people choose not just between them, but also between whatever it is that you're offering. And I feel like that kind of works against the purpose of, growing the business for everybody. So I feel like, and I feel like the people who suffered from it the most was the women, because like, given how great that show was, just imagine if they had been given that platform to themselves and didn't have to share with NXT and the main rosters. They just, hey, let's just get the focus on the women, let them do their thing, and hey, maybe you get 10, 12,000 in the arena for that show. But they gotta stop eating their own face sometimes. Just say, hey, let's just focus on this, make this as best as we can make it, and not have to make people choose like the way that they are. Like, I understand competition, but at the same time, like, just make this work here, man. And that way you won't have to be like, okay, well, we'll see about making Evolution a year later. Like, no, that show was good enough.
Heard it here first. Greggo said, Hunter, lay off the bath salts. You're eating yourself. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Flem, Devin, any thoughts on AEW's ascension?
I
Do you
think
believe it?
well, they put on a damn good show on Saturday. I'll tell you what. Now it was long. Like I started watching it at 3, or I think it started at 3 my time. Yeah. Like 0 hour aside, and then it didn't really end until like 8 o'clock my time. But
it like, halfway through Saturday's main event, I'm like, dog, like, come on.
Yeah, and they WWE was able to get through their NXT show started at the same time, as well as half of Saturday night's main event. So the runtime is a little bit of a meme at this point, but I mean, most of the matches that they put on were good. It's just they have to figure out how to find that balance of like keeping the good product and putting all these wrestlers on a pedestal that they are, and not getting the crowd tired. But from what I saw, it was a very good show. But I think it was a failed counter programming attempt on WWE's part for sure, because but like NXT, like Great American Bash was pretty good. Like not the best NXT show, but it did its job. But Saturday night's main event was not it
at all.
No,
at all.
Like I feel like if AEW, if their regular pay-per-views were like 3-4 hours and then All In was like 6 hours, I don't think people would be bitching about it. But I feel like because this is kind of like their norm, it's like, dog, like chill. Like this was the longest pay-per-view in like US wrestling history. I'm like, dog, like yeah. Like let that, like, I understand, AEW's for the sickos and all that stuff, but like, bro, it is a Saturday. Like, we got shit to do.
Well, and speaking of shit to do, like Devin, you were very busy that day. Like, does what the over offering, the buffet of wrestling that AEW is offering, like, is when you heard of all the like the positive reviews, but then also the 6-hour showtime, like, what were your thoughts on it? Like, were you upset that you missed it? Like, is there like, yeah, how do you feel about everything?
So, and I can't confirm like if this is facts or not, but obviously like they did it on purpose. AEW ran that long on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Since WWE took their time, took their date, they're going to take their time.
Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time.
Exactly.
I fucks with that actually. Yeah, Maxine Waters.
So in that sense, I respect that. I respect that clapback. And that's where I don't have a problem with it. Obviously we've seen how, as B Flem just mentioned, how fans get tired. Like we've seen this with WrestleMania, year after year after year. Like you can really exhaust the crowd that way. But I don't think, like we mentioned, the sickos care that much. And they're gonna they're gonna just head down and run through a wall for AEW. So I don't think the crowd really cares that much. So for in that sense, as far as just like we're going to get back at y'all for taking our spot, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Again, I missed everything. Outside of results, I know nothing that happened, but just from that standpoint, I don't have a problem with it, just to try, like you mentioned, to reclaim your time. So, hey, if they do it again, sure, why not? Do whatever you can to stay relevant.
That's probably the only reason I can justify them going that long. It's like, yeah, like you at some point you have to, fight fire with fire. Say, hey, if this is
that's
the
how
game
you
that we're
fight
playing,
back. 6-hour show, like is that helping anybody?
I feel like if you believe in your product, I could understand it. I wouldn't have done it, but I could understand it.
That's fair. All right, let's move on to what I want to talk about, which is women's wrestling, the women's graps, the real MVPs of the weekend. Women's wrestling entertainment. They officially established themselves in WWE. Evolution. It was like a shining star. It was a warm ray of sunshine and a cold robotic simulation that has become of WWE. The only match that I guess I wasn't like fully locked in on was Trish versus Tiffany, and that had nothing to do with like Trish's end of the bargain. We can talk all day about what happened in the ring, but I do want to start here with WWE's marketing of the event. You talked about all of the tickets that weren't sold. They definitely did a good job with the camera work, making the stadium look full, because even the first match of the show, everybody was clapping and they were like women's wrestling, and they put the lights on and they showed the full crowd. So like they did the whole makeup, and I was like, oh cool, they sold so many tickets. Like I was worried. I truly was so worried about this. But I was frustrated at not only WWE treating this PLE as an afterthought, wrestling media trying to make more of the fact that tickets weren't sold than trying to help the average fan understand why they should try to be there. And I don't know, like, am I making a fuss out of this? I guess am I whining for nothing? Like, did you agree that the buildup for this, what should have been, which was a momentous event, feel like an afterthought? Because that's kind of what it felt like. And even Triple H post-match, which, like, why would you say this? But he was like, I didn't really understand why they needed their own PLE. They shine and they do main events in regular shows. They do main events in PLEs. Why do they need their own show? It's the same bullshit about I don't see black and white. All I see is green. Like, if you're a person who gives us attention, that makes money. But we have seen when you give the smaller, let's just call it smaller markets, the attention the right way, you can still get that green. And with the whole like slowing down of WWE and some of his shitty remarks, it's like, obviously we know the old man was terrible, but also it's just like, is Triple H any worse than him? Like, obviously he is. Like, obviously the old man is much worse because we have plenty more to like work off of. But it's like, I'm just kind of over everything that he's saying. He has honestly gotten me on The Rock's side. Like, I'm here being like, hey, The Rock, maybe he wasn't wrong. maybe he had some things right, and we need to hear him out. I don't know. And again, what are your thoughts on it? Like, am I wildin'? Like, what were your thoughts on the buildup of WWE Evolution B Flem? We'll start with you, especially because your girl Lyra was in there and she was cooking. We'll talk about all of that stuff late in a moment, but just for the buildup of Evolution, what were your thoughts on it?
It was definitely a massive fumble because they have such great talent on the women's side that you had to be promoting the shit out of that, and they really didn't do a good job of that. Especially, and part of it is because they put it on this weekend, which is still their fault.
Beyonce, like you're trying to fight against Beyonce. Not only AEW,
and you already had three other wrestling shows the day before. So it's you put them in a really bad position where people are going to be either A, going to Beyonce, or B, tired of watching a bunch of wrestling the day before. So the presentation around the event, or the way they delivered the event, wasn't the best. But that being said, it was the match for match. It was probably the best WWE Premium Live event of the year.
Yes.
Like they I'm not giving the promotion itself credit, but the wrestlers did their thing during that show.
1,000%.
Oh, killed it.
Yeah. 1,000% agree. As somebody that fully remembers the very first Evolution and how amazing, how epic, how groundbreaking that was, and to get to Sunday where it was just like, we got this, 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 and oh, by the way, we got Evolution. It's almost disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for the quality of the show, you almost tarnished that entire legacy by basically just drawing it up, just throwing it in there. And if the women weren't the best in the world, essentially, then you could have really hurt yourself. This shit could have backfired. Yeah. Based off of, already what had happened this weekend. Like, this shit could have been a massive flop. You're dealing with Beyonce right across the street. Like, Triple H even said it. Why is everybody in cowboy hats? Because they're not here to see you, bro. They're not here to see you, my guy.
So many cowboy hats. So many.
And and then the MLB had their stuff going on. Like, y'all were dead last on the priority list this weekend. And just overall, it was terrible marketing. See, again, like as you brought up during the post game show, the post match, that he was just like, I don't even think we needed another one, bro. This should have been happening years ago. Yeah. Years ago. You have habitually dropped the ball by not bringing this back earlier than it is. This is 7 years later, if I remember correctly, that the last Evolution was, and here we are, like in 2025. Like, that's ridiculous, especially as how groundbreaking and how good the first Evolution was. This should have been a thing first and foremost. This should have been a thing to a point that if it did flop, it was okay because it's already happened so many times. But y'all, it was terrible marketing. It was terrible.
And I'm frustrated at the fact that a lot of people were using this excuse that Liv Morgan got injured, so that's kind of what killed a lot of the marketing of it. And because it's just like, that's just one match. That was just one match. So like, you can't just give up on an entire show because one person got injured. Yes, again, it's very similar to like the Seth Rollins and the SNME situation. Like, yeah, it's a sad situation, but the show don't stop for one person. And it just, it just really bummed me out because Evolution really should have got some love. And speaking of it, let's do that. Let's talk about winners and losers in Evolution to you and why. And I don't want us to repeat ourselves. So if anyone picks a situation, a winner or a loser, let's pick another one. And I will remind you of the matches that happened. Becky Lynch retained her title in a triple threat against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. JC Jane beat Jordan Grace thanks to Blake Monroe's shenanigans. I'll just call it that. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez won against the best of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Tiffany Stratton beat Trish Stratus in what felt like Trish's last match.
Maybe you never know with her. You never know.
And honestly, she looked so much better than Goldberg did, like, period. Jade Cargill got her lick back against Naomi, but Naomi had the last laugh. Stephanie Vaquer won in the Battle Royale, and back to Naomi. Shocked the world WWE Universe by cashing in on Io Sky and Rhea Ripley's 5-star match. Like, woo! So, okay, winners, losers. Can you really call a loser? But hey, this is the Potter potting. It forces you to give a take that may not necessarily you agree with. But who are the winners and losers of Evolution? Greggo, we'll start with you.
I'll say the big winner is probably Stephanie Vaquer. I feel as though since she's moved up to the main roster, I definitely feel like you could definitely tell that even though her English isn't all that great, and of course they addressed it in the post-match promo. I feel as though she carries an energy that is easy to get behind. Obviously, she's sexy as fuck, and I feel as though
I like how you use the word energy when her whole thing is like nonchalant. It's nonchalant as fuck. It's aggressively nonchalant.
It's not necessarily gush. It's just like it's like smoldering energy where it's like, without even doing a whole lot, you can just tell like it's just still there. And
she's Latin Jade Cargo.
Yeah, and I feel like she like it's just.
I'm sorry.
It's easy to just get behind Stephanie, and that's why she's gotten over the way she has so far since she's been with WWE. As far as loser, I'm gonna say Tiffany, because here we are. I mean, granted, Trish isn't a full-time wrestler anymore. She comes in, maybe once a year for maybe about 5 or 6 months and does her thing. And
thank you, Trish.
And really, like, all these considered, like she can still go. And here you are, you have this platform, and I think following up from the dud at WrestleMania against Charlotte, it's like something's still not curling quite right with her, and I can't figure out what it is. And because obviously she has the athletic ability to put on, great moves. I just feel like it's possible that's all it is. It's just it's good moves. They look great, but as far as just why should I care? It's almost kind of in the same vein that people talk about with Lyra Valkyria. It's that she can go. It's just why should I care the way that y'all want me to care? And especially when they try to make her as a babyface. So it's I just don't know. It never quite clicks right with me. And hopefully they'll figure something out, in the future. Because obviously she has Jade at SummerSlam, so that's going to be an interesting match in a lot of ways. And hopefully we get some more defined lines with her and Jade, because I feel like with both of them, you have a lot of people who want to support them, but at the same time you have a lot of people just I don't know. So we'll see which way fans slide on that one.
That's fair. Winners, losers. Devin, who do you got?
Real quick, just to talk on the Tiff thing. I think the credibility, I don't want the credibility, that she had winning the belt is definitely gone. Like the build up to her getting the belt was amazing, and now all the energy's left the building. So just saying that I think I 1000% agree. In that case,
If I may interject just real quick, I feel like part of that. I don't know if any of y'all read. Charlotte had an article in the Players Tribune that came out late last week. It kind of went into, basically, finding out like how does she get up and basically turning Ashley into Charlotte. And one of the things that she talked about was that infamous promo that her and Tiffany had back before WrestleMania. And she went into why things kind of went sideways the way it did. And she had a really good point there as far as just like the person that Charlotte is versus the person that Ashley is. Yeah. And it's like you brought a point about Ashley out there, not so much about Charlotte Flair. And like I could see how, how it messed up Charlotte, but at the same time I could see how it kind of just made things look like Tiffany was like, okay, maybe that was a little fucked up. So yeah.
And I want to point out when that happened, I said that was not Charlotte Flair that was offended. That was Ashley Flair. I want to point that out that I said that. So back to winners and losers. You know who I've been hating on, and like I saw no point, zero purpose, and was a stick in the mud, and I was over it. And I think they finally made this person credible and dominant. Raquel.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't see it. It was she was carried. She was carried. Liv was carrying her, and if it wasn't for Liv, she would have no purpose. And I would say up to this weekend, between what was it, Raw and Evolution, like hats off to you, Raquel, because I was not a believer. So thank you for that dominant performance in that. That was I was a big fan, I don't want to say the obvious, but I was a big fan of that match overall. Obviously the return of the Kabuki Warriors as well, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I'm probably Asuka's number one fan. I've been Asuka's fan since day one. Asuka cannot do any wrong. So for her to come back, and I've been and just even like Kyrie, especially with the Mae Young Classic, learning about her and just who she's been to bring them back together. Big fan of them, so happy to see them back as well.
Was that her Saudi outfit that she wore at Evolution? I was like, that's
yeah, it
was.
it was a lot. It was a lot of cover. It was a lot of cover. It is what it is. But I don't know if something happened to her other outfit, and that was what she had available. But she was laced up. She was laced all the way up for sure. So yeah, no, big fan of that match overall. Is Charlotte becoming over with the fans?
That was
I know that was crazy. Oh man, I loved it.
I have a real quick thought on that, because I mean, obviously, again, with it being in Atlanta, it's quintessential Flair and Horseman country. So I think that might have had a lot to do with it, but at the same time, I mean, just for, I think probably the ego boost for her, and also coming off of that article, it's like, maybe people are, trying to give Charlotte another chance, that, hopefully this rolls into, more stuff. But like, that was super interesting. It was like, oh, like they're with her, like they're begging for her when she wasn't even in the ring. Like, oh, like this is happening.
It's very weird. Yeah, we might be in the Twilight Zone, y'all. So no, very underrated match overall. that I wanted to talk about there. Who is a loser of this?
While you think about this, I want to talk about the Kabuki Warriors real quick. Just the fact that they were like the camera panned to them and they're dancing to everybody's intro music.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I
Oh, yeah,
love
that's a-
like that whole unseriousness of them, where they're just like, "Hey, we're just having fun, but we're gonna once we get into that ring, we're
Gonna
gonna
beat your ass."
fucking brawl." Yeah, like I love that shit. And yeah, Asuka, even with that whole face mask, like I guess it's sake, it's not milk, but like I will drink that sake like gladly. Like get that. Sorry, my bad. White.
Hey, I ain't tripping. I ain't
No,
tripping.
no laws with the White Claws, baby.
This is a kids show.
Is it? Weird.
Is it?
It's a family show. It's a family show.
That was me. And every time I see Asuka, even with that face mask, There we go, Devin.
He
So
said,
who's the
"Shucky
loser?
ducky quack quack." He said, "Shucky ducky quack quack."
I love me some Oscar, man. Loser of and all right, so we know it's going to happen this summer, but what's it going to take for Jordan Grace to get a dub? What is it going to
You know what? That's a damn good question.
I don't care. I mean this in the nicest way. I know how you guys are fans of Jordan Grace.
No, because
I
it goes
really
right
am,
to
like,
it goes
get
to the
her
other
the
to
fuck
get you what I'm talking
outta
about.
here, bro. She's a dinosaur. Like she just feels so old school. She feels so old school.
But that goes into your other point that you wanted to get at as far as like how TNA and WWE how that's been working. But like given the amount of hype that they gave her last year when she would make her occasional appearances, and now that she's full time, it's like they just moved on to somebody else and like, okay, we don't have to like really push you, like we just want to just use you for the
ratings
for the oil farming. But yeah, like now it's like, yeah, you're like we're good here, like
like because when it comes to like strong people, we have Rhea Ripley, we have Bianca Belair, we have Jade Cargill, we already have, and they're taller. Like, and that's what I'm just like. She's great for like old school, like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, top of the table. But just where wrestling is nowadays, she just doesn't necessarily fit in, which is also where I understood her collaboration with old new girl with
Blake Monroe.
Yeah,
bro.
with Blake. Like I understood it because it gave her a reason to like wear the curly hair and put the makeup on. Like it was a very quick
make her softer. Because you know what? It's funny that you mentioned it because that's what happened with Raquel too. Because remember like, back in the day, like how she used to wear all the black leather, and then all of a sudden she was smiling and
I know there's like she's trying to show off cleavage and shit, and it's like
I
see you, girl. I see you.
Raquel?
Yeah. But no, like they're doing the same thing with with
what
Jordan.
she has and what she's doing is two different things. Relax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say, 'cause I think I might
relax.
They were trying to fem her more up because of like how she was presented back in NXT. But I feel like you're kind of seeing the same thing in a different way with Jordan, where it's like, okay, like we know the juggernaut and all that shit. Like now we're trying to like, okay, what if we try to soften her up and make her do her hair and have a spa day and everything. And then you realize it's like this is still the same chick from AEW. Mind you, she turned against Toni Storm almost a year to the date last year. So it's like July is not the time to mess with May. So yeah, but I think that like her character just there's nothing about it. It is like it doesn't sit well as a babyface whatsoever. So it's like a turn kind of had to happen. But yeah, like since she's been on the main on full time in NXT, like Jordan, like the curl, it's been in the hair, but it just hasn't curled right as far as her actually getting the actual wins that matter. It's like she's had like
curling, but it's still not hitting right.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
God. with you. Okay, B Flem. Winners, losers. You got somebody?
Well, if no one else is gonna say Naomi, I guess I'll be the one to
You
say
got
it.
to. You got to.
I'll be the one to say it. Man, what a journey for Naomi.
Really, like for real.
Walked out, rightfully so. Came back and is on the run of her career, in my opinion. She dropped the glow. She's telling people to proceed with caution. She's putting on the promos of her career. She's
the social media of her career.
The social media of her career, man. No, she's doing fantastic work right now and is absolutely earned. And nobody saw this coming. Everybody thought, oh, she's just gonna stop Jade. It's gonna be this long running thing with Jade. And then she came out after losing to Jade in a false.
Still busted,
limping, holding her ribs, hit her split leg moonsault, and walked out with the title. So
that's Rollins-esque.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So
because even the way that she held the title, it was like the Fatu vibes. And just the energy.
Well, she said that's why she changed her name to Fatu, so that because y'all saw what Drew McIntyre said, like, hey, if you're a Fatu, you get pushed. She said, hey, I'm gonna take that, turn that into my advantage. So yeah,
I love it.
So yeah, Naomi, big winner. It's hard to pick a loser.
It really is. Yeah,
because the entire show was very well done from top to bottom.
So Triple H.
At least it's hard to pick a unique loser. I would say
I'll give you one. I have one. The fans who didn't go because like I mentioned earlier, like, you know, you had to compete not just against All In, but you had to compete against two of your own shows to get in the same company. And what if you just didn't bother with those shows and just say, hey, let's all put this energy into Evolution now? You know, the creative, like all these considered, like NXT really carried the creative for this show. The main roster, especially once Liv got hurt, it just wasn't the same. I mean, you had the moment with Trish and Tiffany and Jade from the other week. I heard that was absolute crap. And I'm like, you know, for the most part, it's like they weren't putting that energy the way that it should have been into that show. And, you know, that probably reflected into, you know, the lackluster sales. And like, it really was like last weekend where like suddenly, you know, the prices finally dropped. I think they gained them like a good 2,000 more people who bought tickets. And like, it turned out to be at least a half decent crowd. But it's like, if you would just put in all that energy into just that one show, you could have showed up. And then I'm not saying that it would have meant the women would have done less, but at the same time, like they knew what the assignment was. Say, hey, we're gonna make it to where you're gonna know what we did. You're gonna remember this show, and you know, sorry to everybody who wasn't there because you know they showed up and did something like, and whatever Triple H is talking about as far as like why I can give you a devil's advocate take of that because obviously he is doing his thing on the main roster, but at the same time, this show proved how deep that women's roster is. And I also feel like
the devil doesn't always need an advocate. Like, why are we advocating for the fucking devil?
No,
I hate that. Well, I'm just saying that's just where the time is. Like, there's always someone who feels the need to argue the other side. It's like, why? Like, why? Why can't we just say that Triple H was fucking stupid for not thinking that this needed to get the energy, and the wrestlers went above and beyond and made up for what the marketing team and all that stuff lacked.
If they had just, you know, given the energy that it deserved, you know, there wouldn't be an argument that he could even make. And I feel like, like I say, if you look at from the main roster to NXT, and even if they, I think they had a couple, like one or two people from Evolve, it's like that women's roster is fucking stacked. And like,
Evolution should be 2 nights instead of SummerSlam. Like, SummerSlam needs to be 1 night. Evolution could be 2 nights. Oh my gosh.
I did actually think of a loser.
Cool. Let's go.
And
hey, that's a nice shirt you got over there, Crunk. I wonder where you got that from.
From Shea Butter FTC. Don't play out the back. It's a fun shirt. I went to a bar and watched some Copa America Femenina, so I was like, okay, I feel like I know what shirt I need to wear. So here I am wearing it.
Man, whoever made that shirt must be a damn good person.
Whoever,
goddamn genius.
Flem, sorry.
It hurts me to say this person in particular because they had it was no fault of their own. In fact, they put on a 5-star match.
I knew you were gonna say it.
But I think a big loser from this show has to be Io Sky for one reason and one reason only. Not even necessarily from the show. It's that they booked her world title reign terribly post wrestling.
She didn't fight. She didn't represent. She wasn't the champion. Yeah.
She didn't do anything. And I'm sure that, like, if she was given the opportunity, she would have.
Now you got me curious. I'm like, I know she has some defenses. Well, I mean, of course, half of them was with Rhea, so that's part of it. So,
no, she didn't. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all she, like, I'm pretty sure the last match she had was 2 months ago? Like, it was such a long time. They would have her pop up, and she
had that one match with Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, and then she popped up and did not even fully shown because it was on social media, her little shit with her and Asuka basically being like, we're not a thing anymore. And they just haven't used her as well. And she does such a great job at when she is on camera, though. She's a fucking star. Like, she pops off, like, her reactions in the ring, like, she's so good. And it honestly, at seeing how they have done Bayley, that's what worries me about Io, because Io, very similar to Bayley, can give anyone a 5-star match, but will they represent them as a wrestler to the level that they wrestle in the ring? And we haven't really seen that with Bayley, and I very much worry that Io, because of Rhea Ripley and Jade and Bianca and all these other people, that she's just not seen as a priority to the level as those other wrestlers are.
And that's the tough part about, like with how stacked the women's division is, because obviously everybody can't stay on top forever. And I do feel like, how they view Bayley is like, I feel like they're taking her for granted, kind of like in the same way that, like, for the longest time, like, you had Natalya kind of in that spot where it's like, okay, we know that this person will give somebody a good match, but we're not going to actually, put her in a position to where she's going to get pushed. And, it's something where, I think it came out like back after Mania. Like, I think her contract might be coming up pretty soon. And it's like, you see her best friend, like she was literally all in, backstage, with Mercedes. It's like, there might be an opportunity where it's like, okay,
honestly,
let's go ahead and
let her go. Like, I don't want to say it because I love Bayley so much.
I think for, just to keep things fresh for her and not just, find herself going down the card, it makes all the sense in the world. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool. Final topic before we get out of here. I want to end this episode with NXT, specifically what I lean towards. I asked about the last recording. Who was benefiting from this WWE TNA partnership? NXT is arguably the best women's division in all of wrestling. Plenty on the men's side. Could use a microwave to get some heat of their own, and they're wasting half of the show respectfully. And she's new, Masha Slamovich, Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, and now the fucking system? What? Like Tony D'Angelo, Stax, Luca Cristofinos, their triple threat was flat as fuck. They crammed
other than that spear, yeah, or
Yeah.
whoever got yeeted out the
yes
stage,
through the
yeah.
through the thing,
Yeah.
They crammed a whole month's worth of video promos in the entire show. Like there were like 4 different video promos to make us care about this match when they should have did that earlier. I don't know. It was just very frustrating. Fatal Attraction. They technically should have been broken up. JC Jane should have had her little beef with her teammates, but they have to hold that together because they're pushing that a little bit longer. Obafemi, he is the NXT champion, but he's forced to make his care about Josh Briggs. Huh? Hank and Tank
Listen,
literally have no tag teams to fight against. Like, what the fuck is happening, bro?
you know it. So, the supposed rumor that came out last week was that TNA is on the verge of signing a new TV deal, presumably away from Access TV, which is where they typically are. And I feel as though from a business standpoint, that's where they would win, because I don't see any other way. I don't see any other reason for this partnership if it wasn't for to get TNA on a bigger platform. Now, as far as the actual creative of what we get on TV, I just don't see where there's really been a great advantage for TNA. I mean, because for the most part, in most cases, I mean, there have been like an occasional win for TNA here and there. I just don't see it. I mean, I do think that there's an opportunity. I think Slammiversary is this weekend or next weekend,
Sunday,
where you have Masha Slamovich against JC Jane for both the women's titles. I would think that it would make sense for Masha to win. You know, and you know, kind of give it a little bit of balance between, you know, what NXT is taking from TNA and now what TNA is taking from NXT. But other than that, like, because again, like when you're talking about like how big WWE is compared to where TNA was and still is, it's like if those guys have an opportunity to get over to WWE, why wouldn't they take it? You know, I mean, you know, you saw Jordan Grace go in. I think the plan is still for Joe Hendry to sign with WWE once his deal's over. I'm sure they're giving strong looks to the Mike Santana. And I'm like he's stepping up. So you know, it's one of those things where it's like okay, you're taking and taking and taking. Like, what are you giving back? I mean, it can't be just a TV deal. So what else is there that you can do to make TNA look more valuable to fans and legitimate, so that way, you know, even when they're not seeing these people on NXT, you still want to have a reason to go watch TNA away from NXT.
And that's the point. Like, I have no interest. I still, after all these weeks, I know that, what is it, Slammiversary? Is that what they call it on Sunday? Yeah. Like a TNA show? I don't know where to watch it. I don't care to find out how to watch it. It's like it's just not working on TNA's end, and they're literally getting their best wrestlers taken away. Like they're joining WWE, Jordan Grace, Joe Hendry, like obviously whatever this like trio, the system, like are they going to be joining? Like Mike Santana, is that just what it's going to be? Is a chance for their wrestlers to move up, which for the system of wrestling, it's good to, you know, have those tiers in them and establish those tiers, understand those tiers, respect those tiers. But if I was a business, I wouldn't join with a bigger company just so I can lose my talent. Like that, like where does that help me? And that is kind of where I'm struggling at almost enjoying it, because it's like, okay, cool. You're leaving TNA to join NXT. You're still going to have to do this like growth, and even in that, then where does this leave TNA? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too empathetic for TNA. Like they're the ones who signed up for this.
I mean, I understand the risk that was involved with taking on this type of partnership. Because again, you're talking about, I don't think people understand, like, because of the limited exposure that Access TV has, like in most cases, they're only getting like 150,000 people watching every week. So it's not a whole lot. And it's no fault of their own, because I think it's a good product. It's just that the exposure, like they're not available in all cable systems and everything. So I think that's why they have the YouTube deal. But the goal should be to have a higher, bigger platform, so that way more people can see you, and maybe things can get bigger. I mean, I want to say that I think that the show that they're having this weekend is probably like their biggest arena they've had in a long, long time. And I think they've got maybe like half of the building filled. So like for them, this is huge. So hopefully they can use this and catapult them to a bigger platform. It sounds like there might be a tease that the prodigal son might be returning to TNA, AJ Styles. But yeah, like hopefully this all works out for them to where, again, at the end of the day, it's all about, having a platform for wrestlers to work, so that way we don't only have to rely on WWE. That's why you need AEW to work. That's why you need TNA to work, and everybody else that's out here in the field. So hopefully they do well this weekend. And if I can find them, I will watch them.
That's fair. Other show bros, what are your thoughts on this whole NXT TNA situation?
I think the huge key for it is the NXT Women's Title match this Sunday between Masha and JC. I think it's a really big opportunity for to basically pay TNA back for giving Trick the.
So JC Jane loses? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
1,000%.
I think she should lose. I don't know if she will lose. I don't think she will lose. I think she should lose. I think that is going to be a big legitimizer for TNA. Look, he was so shocked about that take, he turned his camera off. But no,
but it's like but this is my problem though. So all of NXT's men are much better than anybody from TNA, but then the women's on NXT are the ones who are fallible.
Now, mind you, TNA historically has always had a solid women's division, so it can make sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that just given where the dynamic is right now, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense.
No, and I'm with you. Like I'm here for it, because like why would you bring this Masha Slamovich? But also she held both titles at the end of NXT, and that is a trope where, hey, if you do that, then you're not winning.
Say,
I don't know.
Lose.
Yeah, so like it's and I saw people posting about Slamovich, and apparently she's like very similar to like Jordan Grace. She's part of the Indies. She's the old school. She's like the deep cuts. She's someone that you should care about. But I don't know. Because also I feel like Trick, he needs to lose in Slammiversary. So maybe this is what it is. In Slammiversary, just everybody on NXT loses. And this is their lick back for TNA, where TNA finally stands and looks good on their own, premium live events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said, hopefully they get the audience that they want to bring in, the eyes that they want to bring in, and it's a good show overall, because I think that in order for this all to work out, you need everybody clicking. That sounds like AEW's finding their groove. TNA's doing their thing. We just need, that pesky WWE to, step their shit up and, hopefully, it'll be good for everybody.
So apparently you can watch Slammiversary. It's going to be on Thriller TV, Apple TV. You could possibly get it on Pluto TV. It'll be on demand. And then also, obviously, Amazon.com.
Of course.
It's is it like an ad? That's what I want to know. Is it an add-on on Apple TV? Because I have Apple TV.
I don't know.
Will I pay extra for that? That is one of those things I gotta find out and I will look into. Okay. Hey, we've been chatting for good 80 minutes.
It's longer than some people last at the Club World Cup, but you know, it's all good.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hey, there. Hey, was your club there? Was your club there?
Hey, we were over here, try to enjoy this summer somehow. We're just trying to. Not taking this burning sun that get people melting under the pressure, get Saudi Arabian teams. But yeah.
Hey, and Chelsea, hey, at least you didn't have to celebrate next to T.
God, that was
Anyway.
He stole the actual trophy and they had to give him a replica. That's fucking nuts. They do such a grifter, man.
Well, and there's two different stories. There's the story where Infantino told them that, hey, we'll give you the original. And then there's also stories where Trump was like, hey, I like this trophy. Give it to me.
He stole a medal. Like, dude. Like,
Right.
that dude, don't trust nobody around him.
It's dork shit. Very dork shit. All right. Well, show bros, let people know where they can find you and the things that you do. Flem, we'll start with you.
50+ donor. This is for those of y'all watching live. Tomorrow we have Derek Ray on the show.
Dude,
let's go.
That's fucking nuts, man. That's what's
super excited.
Yeah, so that's a big show for us. And then I do my own streams on my own twitch.tv/VW_Flem. Just be chilling, doing a bunch of things. So those are your two spots that you'll mainly find me at.
You can find me over at FTC. Oh no, Greggo.ftcutd.com on Blue Sky. You can find the culture over at ftcutd.com on Blue Sky. FTCUTD Pod on Instagram, the Bird Box, TikTok. We're not on Snapchat. We're never on Snapchat. But yeah, allegedly we have a new episode, but people take too long to get stuff published. So we'll see we'll see what happens. But like I said, we out here. See, listen, we got third kids coming out. I'm about to be broke pretty soon. So we out here.
Devin.
Indeed. Devin Pugh at Blue Sky. _ Devin Pugh on the gram. FTCUTD.com on Blue Sky. Talking about North London. And that's all I got.
And not enough on the women's Euro because we've been busy, man. That's our bad.
It is what it is. Follow.
I've been watching though. I've been watching.
Yeah, we're definitely watching. YFW podcast
There you go.
We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram.
Allegedly.
Hey, we're on Instagram. And then anything else, at Shades of Blue NW, at Shades of Blue NW. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. You can find us. We will be out here posting, doing things. It's my birthday this weekend. So I will be doing some shenanigans. I think I might be doing some soccer golf this weekend. So
Ooh.
I think I might be doing
Okay.
a little vlog for that of my experience and how chances are terribly I will do, but it will be a great time. So check all of that stuff out. You know the vibes. Greggo, say the thing.
It's been so long. It's Greggo, Devin, B Flem, Crunk. It's your favorite wrestling podcast. We'll see y'all soon. If you can't be good, you will actually be bad. Put up.
Be bad, baby.